Everybody, and welcome to the 5 Tips and Tricks for Careers in Athletics. I am your host, Dr. Maury Mosfitz, with my all-time, most wonderful, most favorite, best, stupendous co-host, Jen Albanese. Hello, Jen.
Hey. Hi, Maury. How are you? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast.
So we've got Sarah Thompson, who is philanthropist, student, activist, working in the field of hockey, ice hockey, just awesome. And we're very excited to have her, and at probably a great time to be talking about hockey.
Oh my God, could not be better. Obviously, we're a few weeks removed from the Winter Olympics, and obviously end of the Olympics was huge for women's and men's ice hockey, winning the gold medal, which
in the U.S.
U.S. So
Sarah's
cool.
Canadian, so she's probably not as happy about this.
We probably won't bring this up for her, but I was literally thinking when we were coming on, should I just start chanting like USA, USA? Just so cool how that ended for the U.S. and women and men both winning in overtime. Yeah. Like crazy cool.
Good games to watch. They were fun to watch. It really gets you into hockey, and
for sure.
Great that the NHL allowed
their players to play, the men's
professional players to play, and they had some great women's players that were able to participate this year. So it was awesome. It was really fun to watch.
Yeah, it was cool. The kids got into it. Everybody got into it. So, just such a cool. I mean, we all know we love the Olympics. I feel like we talk about them all the time on this podcast. So, to kind of have Sarah with us, who is a part of, hockey and obviously has some connections with the Olympics, I'm sure is great. So.
Well, the one thing that I kept thinking about, especially in seeing that injury with the teeth being hit out, is why don't they wear mouth guards? I came up in lacrosse. You're not even allowed, and that even has a face mask in lacrosse. Hockey, right. You're wide open with sticks flying up in the air and no mouth guards. Why no mouth guards?
I don't know. I mean, it's got to be a personal preference, right? I mean, I'm sure if you wanted to wear one, you could, right?
I would guess, but why isn't it a mandate? It just seems like it's okay to lose teeth. I don't.
I mean, I feel like that's a rite of passage for hockey players is to not have teeth, right? Isn't that the thing? I feel like that's the thing. Maybe not for the girls, but the guys. I feel like
I think everyone should want their teeth. I don't know.
Right. I don't know, but that picture's pretty iconic.
It's pretty insane.
He's with the flag Hughes, and the bloody mouth and the tooth, and my mother was like, oh my God, he's gonna have to get a cap. Her the dental hygienist how we're gonna diagnose and fix his tooth, but that's pretty iconic. But I don't know. I mean, if it was my child, I would make sure they had a mouth guard in for sure.
Let's just put it out there. We will promote to all you hockey players out there. Please wear a mouth guard. Don't look at this one time in U.S. Olympic hockey history as the way to do it.
And be like, that's what I want for myself.
Keep your teeth.
Yeah, so, but I do feel like that's just a hockey, the culture of hockey is the missing teeth. But
maybe they are sponsored by dentists. So we'll see them there. They could be making a lot of money from a dental sponsorship. So with that, we will have Sarah coming back after these messages.
Are you a loyal 5 Tips and Tricks podcast listener? If not, now is the time to start. Get all your info and fun content on the podcast by following us on all our social channels at @AthCareerPod. The 5 Tips and Tricks podcast is a part of Athletic Career Consulting. Make sure to reach out to us. The one-stop shop for everything is our website, www.athcareer.com. Remember, follow and like us on @AthCareerPod, rate and review us, and get all your info at www.athcareer.com. Hey everybody, welcome back. Maury, would you like to introduce our guest today?
Very much. Today's guest is a scholar, athlete, and humanitarian who has spent her career turning passion into purpose. She's played ice hockey at both Syracuse University and St. Lawrence University, graduating Summa Cum Laude from Syracuse with a degree in Sports and Fitness Administration and Management, earning the Matt Brodsky Philanthropic Excellence Award along the way. In 2023, she launched the Thompson High Performance Program at Ottawa, a sold-out elite summer hockey program for girls staffed by female players from the NCAA, USports, and professional ranks, expanding into year-round mentorship programs where she works one-on-one with select athletes on everything from goal setting, nutrition, mental training, and navigating the recruiting process. She completed her master's degree in organizational leadership at St. Lawrence University in 2025, and that same year was honored with both the 2024-25 NCAA Hockey Humanitarian Award and the 2025 Sarah Devens Award, two of the most distinguished recognitions in college hockey. She also serves as the Director of Partnership at 3G Sports in Montreal, helping athletes build and monetize their personal brands beyond the ice. And since 2022, she has been the founder and executive director of Sticks Together, a non-for-profit that has raised over $30,000 in organized hockey trips to Argentina, South Africa, the Philippines, and Kenya, taking the game she loves to corners of the world that have never seen it. Please welcome Sarah Thompson. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. I love the intro. I was like just sitting here listening to you guys talk about me. It's awesome.
Well, Sarah, you've done such amazing things. I mean, your outreach and what you're doing with the world of hockey is so incredible. I mean, to at such a young age to found an organization like the one that you're doing and getting it across the world is just so incredible.
Thank you. Oh, I appreciate it.
I'm a proud mom over here. Sarah is my first mentee that we did a really cool program at Syracuse where they paired student athletes with staff within the athletic department. And Sarah was my first one and my favorite. Don't tell anybody else. But
the whole world.
I feel like a proud mom and I've been a part of a lot of these things with Sarah, and I'm so proud of her and excited to have her on today. This is so exciting for me.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited. This is awesome.
Thank you very much.
Sarah, we really want to hear some of the great tips and tricks you might have for people that are probably close to what you're doing or in the ranks or coming up through the world of sports and athletics. So let's hear your first tip or trick.
Yeah. So I think the first tip is something we hear a ton at Fall College in the sport management degrees. Just build a network of great people. And I think oftentimes at first when you're a freshman and I heard that build a network, it was like, all right, got to get on LinkedIn and start connecting with all these great people. And yes, that was a great thing that I definitely did. And I was brave enough to reach out to people and ask to meet. But I think just putting yourself out there and meeting people organically, whether that's just from volunteering or signing up for that mentorship program, like how I met Jen, right? Like doing things to put yourself out there to connect with people that are only going to help you move forward, I think was something that was so valuable for me. And I feel like I'm pretty proud of the network of awesome people that I've been able to meet and that have gotten me to where I am now.
A lot of students, I think, are afraid in the beginning. Like, like you said, they're intimidated as a freshman to like go and make those connections. But, you don't have to be like Sarah. Obviously, you were, one of the few that really was on top of it and talking to different people. But, I think it's utilize your own backyard. Like say you're at a university like Syracuse, you have an athletics department right there to utilize those people that are right at your fingertips. So Start there. Start making those connections there. And then obviously as you get a little more confidence in, talking with these people and building the network, you can go beyond that. But I think that starting kind of in your own backyard is a great way for people like really, really starting out, freshmen, even kids who are in high school who don't really know a lot about the sports industry. There's so many different avenues, obviously, as we all know, but it's kind of start you're in your own backyard, talk to the high school athletic director that you know from the school where you played your sports or whatever. So, I think people say networking all the time, but, it's not always just about going to LinkedIn and just reaching out to random people. That's not a bad thing either, but it's starting small and continuing to grow and build your confidence in that networking. So.
Yeah.
And you were very good at that. You were very good at that.
I tried. I definitely tried.
I was going to ask her, how do you feel like, for someone that's a little bit more nervous and might feel like they need to get over the threshold, what do you think are things that could help them be able to actually, make those connections or take that leap?
Yeah, I think start with the people that are most comfortable. Like Jen said, like there's so many people right in your backyard that you don't even realize are willing to help, right? Like I tell the kids that I advise all the time, 15, 16-year-old girls in Ottawa, it's like, if I'm coaching 30 kids on the ice at once, I can't possibly know what all of you guys are thinking, all of you guys want to work on. But if you ask me, I will happily give you my time, attention, support. Like I'm a wealth of knowledge to give you, but how am I supposed to know that you're interested in hearing more, right? So I think even just the people around you don't realize how much they're capable of helping you, but you have to have like the ambition to go and ask, right? And sometimes it's just getting out of your comfort zone. Like you have to get over the hump. If it's embarrassing or you're nervous about it, you kind of just have to do it. And I think if it's a good person, I guarantee you they'll make you feel comfortable pretty quickly, and something great can grow from there.
Awesome. Great start.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome job. What do we got for number 2?
So for number 2, I think using your network that you've built as somewhat of kind of a sounding board. So Jen's a great example of this for me. It's like when I had all these ideas, no idea what to do with them, no direction. Before just throwing myself into something, I kind of tested the waters. I asked people in my network what they thought. I pulled advice from there. And I made sure I felt really confident in my preparation before getting into something. So I think using the people around you to get feedback from, I think is really important. And, as an example to this, when I was starting my own hockey camp in Ottawa, I started asking around to some different coaches that I knew from back home and some kids that I've previously coached, just to try and find the niche, like what's missing, like how can I fit in and offer something really unique. So, I could have come up with this whole plan on my own, but it might not have been exactly what it needed, right? And how exactly I was going to fit into it, to a niche perfectly where I was really going to deliver something great. So I think getting feedback from as many people as possible and being able to get vulnerable and share your ideas before you just pounce on something, I think to me is really valuable.
How did you hold yourself back from just like jumping into it and wanting to starting right away? Because I feel like that's one of the mistakes you hear like kind of commonly, that people are so excited and like energized about what they want to do, they might not take that time to really explore and learn.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely a bit of a perfectionist, so I think that
no, not you, Sarah. No way.
No, not really. So I think that came with, there's a bit of hesitation in jumping into things right away because I really wanted to make sure that it was kind of perfected. But I think, especially if you're doing something that comes with any risk, or if it is a big jump, like putting a pause on it and just making sure you feel really confident in your preparation, right? Like once you take a risk, you're always going to feel a little bit anxious. It's a risk, but you'll feel more confident in your preparation if you've done it and you've tested the waters and you feel like you have a network of people that are behind you. So I think just waiting till you feel good about it and you feel like you've tested the waters as much as you possibly can. And then at that point, you've got to just go for it.
Awesome.
I love the test the waters. I feel like that's across the board. Like I'm constantly doing that with Maury. Like, what do you think I should do here? Yeah. Like, does this seem like the right solution, or should I present it this way? Or I talk to, my coworkers like, hey, should we present it this way? Should we do this with, the budget, or make this decision for an in-game? And so I think that it doesn't always just start right at the beginning of your career. It's something you can continue throughout, that utilize the people around you. They're there for a reason. They're there to help you. You're a team. I mean, you can talk about team sport. Like, you're not going to be successful on the ice by yourself without working together as a team. Yeah. So having that team of people that you trust around you, that network, those confidants, like Maury, you said this a bunch, like you're forever texting, mentors and how do you feel like I should handle this? Like, that's what I think you're saying, Sarah, is like use those people and test those waters, that if you think this decision is the right decision or the right route to go down, and then at least you'll have some confidence in it. And like you said, there's always a risk. There's always anxiety that comes with making a decision, whether it's on the smallest level of something we're going to do in game, or to start a not-for-profit, or to start a camp. There's always that hesitation. But if you've talked to those people that you trust around you, I think that can help. So
100%. Yeah. It just gives you that feeling of confidence and support to make a decision. So
yeah, exactly.
Great. These are awesome tips. We're doing great. We're doing great. Okay. Number 3.
So number 3, again, it kind of just falls into, we've got like a timeline going here. So
perfect. Going one to the next. It's perfect.
Exactly. It kind of a nice little transition. So the third one is just to be a sponge. I think I am someone that can be very narrow-minded, tunnel vision. I have a goal and I just want to work towards that goal. And the same way when I was completing a degree, it was just like, got to get an A on this test, an A on the next one, rather than really trying to like soak the information in and see it as an opportunity to like learn something that I'm going to carry with me for like years to come. I think when like working, especially in sports and in business, you're always thinking about the next game, or the next project, that sometimes taking some time to actually see what's going on around you, especially in collaborative settings, right? Like when you're just so focused on your small task to get done, and just worried about a deadline, that sometimes you miss the opportunity to see what's going on around you, like the different pieces to the puzzle. So I think that's something that's been super valuable to me, and something I've learned from working kind of in a startup agency business, where I do get to kind of touch all sorts of things and be in meetings where we discuss everything. So I think that's been really valuable. And in other positions where it hasn't been a startup and I've had a very narrow role, I think this advice would have definitely helped me get out of my comfort zone to just even ask a colleague like what they're working on and what that looks like. Because I think the more things you can add to your portfolio, the better like perspective you have when you're working on your own task.
Yeah. I feel like as I've gone through, it's just a really helpful skill. Is like, how do you take these pieces of information and like kind of connect them to things that you wouldn't think of? So many times when I'm in meetings or doing things that really are not my direct like area of oversight, or something that I might not deal with a lot, I start putting connections together that I don't think I always would have associated with. Like, the reason that we, decided to do this and, the concession side of it is because it has this outcome, which then leads to that. And it goes, okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. And then how can I help contribute to that? How is my area helping or hurting that? Is that a side that I haven't seen before? And you're right. If you're not open to it, if you're not thinking like, hey, let's try and look at all the angles here. It's interesting because I think a lot of interns or younger people really struggle with this concept. Because 100%. they're like you said, they're trying to just like kind of tick off a goal because that's very much what you're used to in school. I think you've even like kind of referenced it, like get through that test and get an A. But when you're in the actual real world of things, you have to look at it a little differently. And I've had the question of, well, how did you like kind of come up with that solution? Because like, how did you think of it? And I'm telling the intern, well, it's because I thought about all the other things that are related to it. And I didn't look at it just in that context. So it makes it a little easier for me to figure out a resolution. Besides, I probably have a little more experience, which doesn't hurt either. But you're right. You got to absorb as much as you can.
Yeah, I literally said this to an intern today. I had somebody come in and want to like talk to me about, it's one of the creative interns who I don't really work with as often. And, she was asking me questions about, how do I get an interview and who should I talk to at different, organizations. And I was like, listen, like, yes, you are good at your creative role, but understanding what everybody does. And I'm not saying you're going to be an expert in what everybody does, but understanding what they do only going to help you be better at your job. And obviously you want to grow in your career, and you don't want to just start at at an entry level position. You want to continue to grow. But in order to do that, you have to be able to understand what everybody else does, not be an expert in what everybody else does. Nobody's looking for you to be an expert. And if you act like you're an expert, that's not going to be good. But to understand what everybody does, I think will only help you build those relationships. And again, going back to like the team mentality, we're all a team. Like, you need to know what's happening on offense and defense if you want the team to be successful. Maybe you don't play offense, you only play defense, or vice versa, but you got to know what their roles are so you can work together to accomplish that goal. So, that's great. I love that.
It makes, Jen, I want to put it even farther, that understanding can lead to appreciation. And at the end, appreciation is really what can like make the difference in that whole scenario. And so like, the more you can appreciate what other people do and create a connection with them, really like how much smoother is it to like deal with them? Kind of like you said, like it makes going to these meetings where you're, in a startup, like you said, where you're all collaborating so much easier than just being like, I'm putting myself right in the middle of it. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah,
absolutely.
We're going strong here. Number 4.
Yes.
All right. Number 4 is to just bet on yourself and don't be afraid to take a calculated risk. I think taking risks is the reason I have got to where I am today. I took so many risks, like just leaped into things. And I think the people that take risks, the people that do things that others won't, are the reason that they got to somewhere that no one else did. So I think, I had to just kind of put faith in my preparation, and like running my camp, for example, the very first time that I did it, the cost associated to booking ice and the room rental was like $5,000. So I knew I was, risking $5,000, and I knew through my calculations that I needed 20 kids to sign up to even break even, right? That number was so daunting. So it's like, it's my first time running a camp. I've never had a kid sign up. I've got to get 20 to even break even. And then hopefully more than 30 so I could profit a decent amount, right? So there's going to be risks, but I think that's the risk comes with reward, right? So I think being brave enough to take risks once you've put in your work and you've used your network and you've like felt really confident in the preparation and what you have to deliver, and then just taking that leap of faith and not being afraid to fail, because you might, but you just got to keep working at it and not let something stop you.
Yeah, big risk, big reward, right? Isn't that what they say? Big risk, big rewards.
Exactly.
I think it's having the confidence in yourself that you've done again, I actually said this to the intern that I was talking to today, like having that confidence in yourself, that knowing that you've done everything that you can and believing in yourself that you can do it. Like, and you might fail the first time, but that doesn't mean you can't continue to do it and try again. Like you said about your camp, Sarah, you might have had 10 people the first year. Okay. But the next year you might have 40 people, you know? So, it's having that confidence that you've done the right things, you're making the right decision, and then just believing in yourself. Because I think people do get down and not, Sarah, we've had many talks where I'm like, you can do this. Like, it might not be you might not be perfect in the beginning. It might not be the perfect fit. It might not be the perfect job right out of school or whatever. But that doesn't mean to not have the confidence in, hey, I'm going to learn something from this. I'm going to grow with this. So, yes, big risk, big reward.
Yeah.
So,
and you're taking failure and turning it on its head. Like, there's always an opportunity to learn something from what might not have been what you were expecting the outcome to be, right? Like, even if you unfortunately didn't get all your money back, but you now know, like, well, I know I can really do well I learned this from it. So next time I'm going to be able to be even more successful. And that's it's hard in the moment. And I think we all at some point hit those things like, wow, I wish I would have done it differently knowing what I know now. But it is an opportunity to like say, hey, I'm going to learn from this and it's going to make it better and what I'm going to do in the future. And so, taking those jumps in whatever form the outcome is gives you an opportunity to move forward in some positive way. It's how you take that perspective too. So it's a great thought. It's, don't hold yourself back from taking those leaps. So
100%.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, Jen, we got the big question here.
All right, Sarah. So what do you know now that you wish you knew then? So what do you know now at this point in your career that you wish you knew when we first started, when we were first sitting at those tables in Lally?
Yeah. See, it's funny because what I'm going to say is something I'm still having to convince myself and learn. But at least I'm aware of it. So I think it's that you don't need to know everything and have to have everything figured out to like belong in the room and to be there so I think that's something I'm still learning, especially as a woman in sport. Like there's times where I'm at a table and like especially working in the sports agency world, it's a lot of men, and I belong in that room, right? Like I've earned it to be in that room, but sometimes it feels when you're just breaking into it, that you need to have everything figured out and you need to have X amount of experience to be in that conversation. But I think it's something I'm still trying to work on and to convince myself. And it's like, I've earned a spot at the table. I've earned it. I've worked to get to this point, and I can also be there to learn. Like I don't have to lead that conversation the whole time and have all the answers, but I can certainly ask questions and give my opinion and learn and be involved. So I think putting yourself out there, having confidence that you belong in that room. And I think having that confidence gives everyone else the confidence that you are a part of that conversation, right? Mm-hmm. And that your ideas matter, but you have to come with that confidence and feel like your voice matters. And so, that's something I'm still working on, but at least I think back then, I would have thought that I needed to have it all figured out before stepping into any room, and that I needed to like be 100,000% prepared, when that's just like not the reality. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm sure there's a lot of people with plenty of experience that go into a room and still feel like they're not sure if they're fully prepared.
There's definitely times where, I think, you hit it on the head from like a perspective of being a woman in this industry. Yeah. And, I don't see it, but I see it. Like, it's weird. Like in some meetings, I'll look around and I'll be like, wow, there's like me and one other female in this room. Yeah. And I'm like, that's weird. But then I'm like, you know what? No, I belong here. I have to like remind myself of that. Exactly. Like I can be in this room, but also be learning at the same time. Like I say that to Maury all the time. There's a couple of meetings that, we're in, and I'm like, I don't contribute a ton, but I'm there I literally learn so much from sitting in the room. And I feel privileged that I'm there, and I have that confidence that I should be there. So I think that's across the board. I know that's probably more directed towards females, but I think for younger kids, younger students, like, feel like you should be in that room. Now you don't need to overpower and talk and just say everything to just be heard that you're there. But know that you belong in that space,
Totally. Yeah.
I sometimes when I get in that situation where I'm not sure, I ask questions like, can you, this seems really interesting. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more so I have a better understanding or get clarification? And sorry if I'm not as aware, as familiar this is everyone else in the room. Could you just, and that's okay.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that. That's actually good.
I mean, how many times, Jen, have we been in a meeting where someone asks a question and that leads to kind of examining what we're thinking about and what's going on? And that question can be like, okay, well, that makes sense, but can you explain why we do it that way? And then no one can answer that. And you go, well, maybe we should rethink about how we're approaching this. And so you're contributing through being inquisitive, through being, being genuine. And I agree with Jen, the people that go in and pretend like they know everything and like want to just put their stamp on it so that people know they're in the room it's not helpful. But like you said,
that only hurts you. That only hurts you, and not the the other people in the room are like, whoa, okay.
But be confident that you deserve to be in the room and that you deserve to be a part of the discussion, and that you're being thoughtful in what you're asking and thoughtful in what you're questioning. And sometimes maybe you don't have something to say, and being in
that's
the room.
Okay too. That's okay too.
It's okay to have insight and to think about it, or to come out and say, you know what, I'm going to ask my mentor, somebody that I know, hey, can you I was thinking through this, I'd love, and then next time when you're in the room, because that'll continue to happen, because that's a part of it, then you ask your question, because you're become better informed. So it's so important, and I appreciate so much that you're putting it forward to say, have confidence in yourself, put yourself in the right positions, and don't be afraid to put yourself in that room. So awesome. Well, Sarah,
so good, Sarah. So
awesome
good, Sarah.
Job. And
Gosh. No, this is great. I love that we got to do this. And I was telling Maury, I'm like, we got to have Sarah on. She's doing so many things and has so much experience now. And so this was great. I'm so proud of you.
Well, I wouldn't have been here without you.
Oh, you're the best. Hey, tell us about Sticks Together a little bit.
Absolutely.
Like where everybody can find Sticks Together and your camps and stuff. So we can push that out on social for you too.
Yeah. So Sticks Together is a nonprofit. I started my sophomore year. Seems like forever ago.
I still have my T-shirt.
The original T-shirt. One of the very first ones made ever. Yeah. So essentially our goal is to bring the game of hockey to as many communities around the world, and to open doors and create opportunity, particularly for girls and women. And we use hockey to do that. So I've been to 4 countries now, and we're planning to go back.
She makes me nervous every time she goes to a country. When she has to get like all these different shots, when she has to go, I'm like, oh, don't tell me these things. Just don't tell me. Just tell me just text me when you get there, and text me when you get home. I don't want to get too nervous.
Meanwhile, I'm like in South Africa, jumping off a bridge, doing bungee jumping.
Crazy.
It's just another experience I love to add to the tally. But yeah, so we've been to a lot of different places. We're fundraising money to go back to Kenya this summer with another group of women to coach hockey. So you can find more information on our website at stickstogether.org, and on our Instagram, stickstogether. So stay tuned for more updates and photos in Kenya.
Awesome. We're looking forward to it. We want to see some of those awesome pictures and see you teaching hockey to some people that would maybe never get that experience. So that's
for sure
awesome.
It is the best.
It is the best, man. Well, thank you, Sarah. Again, we so appreciate it. Great tips. And thanks everybody for listening. Make sure you're following us on all our socials at AthCareerPod, and on listening on all the podcast platforms, and new episodes drop every Tuesday. So thanks everybody for listening. And thank you, Sarah.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
If you like the 5 Tips and Tricks podcast, make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. You can rate and review us, including questions that may be answered on future episodes. The 5 Tips and Tricks podcast for careers in athletics is part of Athletic Career Consulting. Check us out at www.athcareer.com. Don't forget to follow and like us on your top social media platforms.